Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
I'm talking about blacks killing and attacking cops, police officers around the country. A lot of folks are asking me, why is this happening? How come all of a sudden it's just a surge of cops being attacked or under attack? And I'm explaining that, see, white Americans and the liberal media didn't know this at the time because these meetings used to be, at one time, were held in private, where these so-called black leadership, it eventually went out into the media, starting to accuse the cops of being racist. And it caused young blacks, and older too, to become angry at white America, even though they were already angry. Without being justified, they're angry at white Americans, but they became angry at the cops. And whenever you become angry, whomever caused you to become angry, they also control you. And so they started to, the so-called leadership, started to complain that these cops were racist. There are more black people in jail than college, which is not true, by the way. There are more black people arrested than the white man, and they were going on and on about it. And a lot of these young folks are hearing this from the so-called adult leaders, and these kids are coming from homes where they don't have fathers and mothers, where fathers at least, because 70% of black babies are born out of wedlock. 70% are born out of wedlock. So they don't have good parents at home to say, hey, these people are lying. The cops are not against you. They are protecting you and your neighborhood and your city. So these young kids, in their state of anger, believed the lie that was coming from the actors, the entertainers, and the black preachers and others. And now because white Americans didn't do anything about it out of fear of being called racist, and the liberal media promoted it by supporting the race hustlers and poverty pimps and broken homes, no one there to correct this false lie about police officers. It is now out of control. And I want you to realize that our battle is a spiritual battle between good and evil. It has nothing to do with color. Even in your private lives, it has nothing to do with whether you're male or female. It's good versus evil, right versus wrong. But now it's out of control. And if we don't deal with this in a state of urgency, we are in trouble, because these people, these young black folks, men and women, and older ones too, do not trust the cops. They don't like the cops. And we're going to see more attack and killings on police officers. And it's so unfortunate. This is evil at work. And then when these mad people go out and attack the cops and commit these crimes, and the cops have to beat them up, Jackson and others are sitting back in their private domains, and they're acting as though they didn't cause this to happen. They had nothing to do with it, because if you weren't there to see them brainwash these kids and make them angry, they would not look like they are to blame for it, but they are to blame. The lack of fathers in the home, fathers and mothers getting married, and the so-called leadership are to blame for the cop killings around our great nation. Here's an example. This is from the New York Daily News let's see here, cop killing in New Jersey. Jersey City cop killer shot outside Walgreens. And I want you to just hear this first report on it. CBS News report on this cop.
Officer killed in an ambush. Investigators say Melvin Santiago was shot and killed by a suspect wanted for another murder. CBS News' Diane Macedo reports.
Jersey City Police Headquarters is draped in black and purple today as the department mourns Officer Melvin Santiago, killed in the line of duty.
It was his dream. and he was living his dream, but at the same time, he didn't have to die like that.
The 23-year-old had been on the force only 7 months when he responded to an armed robbery call at a Walgreens on Communipaw Avenue and John F. Kennedy Boulevard yesterday. Police say inside the pharmacy, 27-year-old Lawrence Campbell had attacked a security guard and stolen the guard's gun. But instead of robbing the store, he then waited for police to arrive.
Surveillance cameras show Campbell walked outside and speaking to a witness, at which time he apologized for his conduct in Walgreens and then subsequently told the witness to watch the news later today. He's going to be famous.
Investigators say he then walked up to Santiago's car and shot the officer before he even had a chance to get out of his car.
My son was 23 years old, and he was a good boy, and he didn't deserve to get a bullet in his head.
The police then shot and killed Campbell. His wife says she's in mourning, too.
I'm not saying what he did was right or what they claim he did was right. What I'm saying is he was my husband and he was a human being.
Police say they had actually spent the last few days looking for Campbell in connection with another murder, along with this man, Daniel Wilson, who police just announced they arrested yesterday.
That's the woman that said what they claim he did. It wasn't just a claim, woman, lady. This is a reality. And human being, my husband was a human being. This was not a human being. This was an animal. It was an animal. It's not a human being. A human being would not walk into a Walmart or a Walgreens and take a security guard's gun and go out and kill a cop. That's not human being, all right? You've gone to another state in life. And the guy that this thug took the gun from was a security guard, 58 years old pastor.
As for the security guard, he's been identified as Pierre Monsanto. Neighbors say he's a 58-year-old pastor and that he was slashed in the jawline during the attack. They say he was very shaken up yesterday and is still in recovery here at home, but that he is expected to be okay. In Jersey City, Diane Macedo, CBS 2 News.
Police say Wilson was armed at the time of his arrest. He's been charged with multiple firearms and narcotics offenses. Meanwhile, detectives continue to investigate the homicide he was linked to, as well as the shooting of Officer Santiago.
The wife of the shooter goes on to say that she wished that her husband had taken more cops out.
Punched him before grabbing his gun. I also spoke with Campbell's wife, and her comments were nothing short of shocking.
Oh no, he should have took more with him if that's the case. That's how I feel. That's God forgive me, but that's how I feel. If that's the case, he should have took more with him. If they was gonna stand over my husband and shoot him like a dog, he should have took all of them out, and that's how I feel.
Angelique Campbell said repeatedly that her husband didn't go nearly far enough in a shooting rampage that killed rookie cop Melvin Santiago. Standing next to an impromptu street memorial to the father of their 6-year-old daughter, she expressed little sympathy for the murdered officer or his grieving family. Ms. Campbell also had no sense as to what prompted the 27-year-old ex-convict to commit an apparent premeditated attack on unsuspecting cops. Did he give you any indication going into this as to what?
No, I was asleep. Sorry for the officer family. That's, whatever. But at the end of the day, he got a family too. All they care about is the officer. All they care about is the officer.
Ms. Campbell echoed the anti-cop mentality of many we spoke with in that crime-ridden neighborhood today.
You know, it's interesting. This woman doesn't seem to realize. She said he has a family too. All they're talking about is the cop's family. He has had a family as well. Didn't he know that before he went out and took the gun and killed the cop? He should have thought of his family, not the cops. The cops doesn't have time to ask a killer, "Oh, do you have a family?" This is crazy. This is an extreme example of what the mentality of not all, but most black Americans toward cops. Even Christian black Americans do not trust the cops. They have been brainwashed too and don't realize it. There are educated black folks who do not trust the cops. And it's not because the cops are bad, it's because they hate the cops. They're angry at the cops because they have been brainwashed to be angry at the cops. When you do tell the truth about what's going on with the cop killing, this is concerning Officer Santiago. He was 23 years old and committed to serving his dangerous neighborhood.
Law enforcement officials say Officer Santiago was committed to serving the people of the 4th District, the most dangerous in Jersey City. So dangerous, in fact, that Walgreens security guard Pierre Monsanto felt compelled to carry a handgun at work. He told News 12 New Jersey that Lawrence Campbell punched him twice in the face before grabbing his gun and then opening fire on police.
He hit me right here, my head, and
Oh, he punched you?
yeah.
And then what, he grabbed your gun?
Yes.
What kind of gun did you have?
45.
45 caliber? But you're licensed to carry it?
Yeah.
What was this guy's mental state when he came in? Did he look like he was high on drugs? Did he look crazy?
I don't know.
What did he say to you?
No, he just asked me, he want to get some cut.
Uh-huh.
I said the cut is right here.
Now, it's worth noting that we were besieged, flooded with calls from police officers furious that we would give media coverage to the wife of a cop killer. It's understandable. We decided to air it because it's important to shine a light on this anti-cop mentality that has so contaminated America's inner cities. This same sick, perverse line of thinking is evident from Jersey City to Newark and Patterson to Trenton. It has made the police officer's job impossible, and it has got to stop. The underlying cause for all of this, of course, young black men growing up without fathers. Unfortunately, no one in the news media has the courage to touch that subject.
He is absolutely 100% correct. They're growing up without fathers, and they're being brainwashed by the black so-called leadership, including some of the black preachers, most of the black preachers, many of them around the country. And this is so bad, America, that if you don't wake up to what's going on, being quiet about this, and that guy, by the way, that reporter, he told the truth, and because he had the courage to tell the truth, you could just feel his frustration from what happened to this officer. He told the truth that it was due to the lack of black fathers in the homes, and because he told the truth, he was demoted, and to a point that he ended up quitting that job. And see, that's important because what these children of Satan do, they make an example of you in order to put fear in other people who would normally speak up or speak the truth. But they put fear in you and prevent you from telling the truth about what's really going on, and you shut down. You absolutely shut down. We saw it recently with the owner of the basketball team here in L.A. What was that? What's the name of that team? Donald Sterling. He had a private conversation with his girlfriend in his home, and look what that man is going through. He has been made an example of to put fear in the hearts and minds of the good folks who would stand up and tell the truth. Here are other folks who are bad examples for young people, blacks who don't have parents to guide them. And these people are like looked up to by these black folks who don't know any better. Remember Henry Louis Gates Jr. of Harvard. He was the guy that cops, he went into his own home, and when the cops went there because they had been alerted that someone had broken in, he attacked the cops and carried on about it and called the cops racist and all that crap. Barack Obama said that the cops acted stupidly there in Massachusetts. That was sending out a message to other blacks that the cops are not your friend. Dr. Ursula Orr of Arizona State University, the cops tried to stop her for jaywalking. Instead of following the instruction of the officer, she acted out, calling them racist. A professor. And we have another one, Judge David S. Cunningham, out at UCLA, right here in the LA area. This guy cried racism because they dealt the UCLA security guys dealt with him, and he cried racism and ended up suing UCLA. And what these people do, folks, when they try to stop you, when they try to stop blacks don't give in to the instructions. They fight back. They start to act out, and that's going to put fear in the cops. They don't know what you're going to do, so they have to throw you down to the ground, beat your butt, because you're not following the instruction of the cops. And so these people in the limelight here are encouraging this kind of stuff, folks, and they know exactly what they are doing. Be not deceived. They know what they are doing. They are clear of what they were doing. This judge at UCLA, according to the Los Angeles Times this month, UCLA agreed to pay this black judge, $500,000 in settlement over accusation by a prominent black judge, David S. Cunningham, accusing UCLA police of racial profiling and brutality at a traffic stop. This is ridiculous, folks. I beg you got to get over the fear. We have nowhere else to go. We got to fight for our country. I'll take your phone calls right after this break.